This meeting of the Committee of the Whole will come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
All right, this committee of the whole, Thursday, October 22nd, 2015. We're at 6 p.m. I have Council Capone.
Yep.
I have Council DeFlorio.
Here.
I have Council Hamlin. Council Mahangan.
Yes.
I have Council Marchese.
Yeah.
Council McKinnon.
Yes.
I have Council Sajada.
Here.
And I have Council Simon.
Here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mr. President, we do have a quorum.
8 members present. We have a quorum. Please rise, salute the flag.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, read the first business.
All right, item number 1, this order offered by Council Frank Capone as president that the position as special outside appraiser is hereby granted special municipal employee status under the provisions of Massachusetts General Law 286A.
The city solicitor is unable to attend. She did send a communication. Would you like to have our clerk read that? Okay.
You could all take a moment and just read
Take
it.
a moment to read it if you wish.
Mr. Chairman,
Council Hamlin.
could we have someone up in the audience? Okay, I'd like to let Mr.
Davis.
If that's, Ms. Davis, please have you before the committee,
Okay, okay.
and whoever else you think maybe. I think you're probably it on this one. Okay, good. If you could, the microphone isn't on yet. You just have to press that button so that the light is green. If you could, please just identify yourself for the record.
Pamela Davis, assessor for the city of Everett.
Would the council like an overview from her? That'd probably be the best thing to do, and if there's any questions.
Actually,
we'll go from
anyone,
there.
Mr. Chairman, it's okay. You know, we have made these positions special municipal employees before, and I'm kind of unaccustomed to seeing something that would be out of the city of Everett and in the city of Everett at the same time. So I'm looking for the legality of it, and the only one that I remember is that we had our chief of police, who was appointed as a special municipal employee because of the fact that he worked for the school department as a basketball coach.
Right.
Paid by both. So he was a special municipal employee. He worked for 2 places in the city of Everett.
Right.
Now, how do we make a special municipal employee when someone works for the Department of Revenue and then works for the city of Everett? I just want to know if it's right to do. That's all, my only question.
Absolutely, and the backup work to her letter is a lot of communication between us and ethics, and they go into detail. But the reason they feel that way is he's a contractor for DOR, and what he does for them is he values some utilities, and the utilities he values are the telephone poles and wires and conduits, which they turn around and allocate how many miles and how many widgets of that are in each community. And then they, from his appraisal, tell us every year what the value of that equipment is to put on the personal property rolls. So what they're saying is we benefit from his expertise through Department of Revenue in that vein. So having him as a consultant to do an appraisal on the power plant, they felt that that was the only way that would be appropriate would be to make him a special municipal employee.
Okay. Okay, I'll take that as an answer. Thank you.
Council Sachetta.
Is this due to the fact we appraised this property some years ago and we got in trouble because of the high appraisement that we did and we had to give them money back?
No.
They sued us. Is
Well-
this the reason for it?
In kind of a way, because what we're trying to do, if you remember, we've had meetings with you before saying that we're trying to challenge that agreement and renegotiate it. So because of that, we need to know what the true value of the plant is. The other piece that has indicated that it would be more than appropriate and that we're on the right track for trying to challenge that agreement, which ends in 2020. When I first, let's see, 5 years ago, the entity that owned it at the time claimed bankruptcy, if you remember back then when they were in bankruptcy. And that plant and the small plant in Weymouth, through bankruptcy, was sold to the entity that owns it now. They keep changing their name, but it's the same group. And they paid $1.2 billion for the two properties. So we were saying, well, even if you allocate to the smaller one $500 million, that's well over $800 million that we have in Everett. And when you look at their tax, what we have them agreed to pay, a lump sum number, the value that represents that number is in the, well, at the time, low 300 million. So it's a huge gap. So we all agreed that the best thing for us to do at this moment in time, in order to bolster our negotiations with the plant, is to have it appraised. This gentleman, people that are experienced and qualified appraisers for utility-type property are rare and far between. This man is one of the very few.
Will the fact that there's a possibility of a conflict of interest and we do this appraisal, would they come back and say, there's a conflict here?
No, especially if you designate him as a special municipal employee, they
There's no
couldn't.
chance that they will do that.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Davis, I knew, I was just going to ask you that if he was, there's probably only a few people in the state that can actually appraise, a piece of property like this.
Very few.
So I'm assuming that this gentleman's done other work for other municipalities?
Yes.
Do you have any, off the top of your head, do you know?
Well, yes, because he's not with the power plant as such, but the wireless businesses that are throughout the city. I know, in talking with other assessors, the city of Boston, Brookline, Newton, and Springfield have all designated this particular gentleman as a special municipal employee in order to have him do their appraisals.
Okay, and do you know, has he done anything of this magnitude in terms of like a power plant or
Oh,
anything like
yes.
this?
Oh, yes. He's nationally known as an authority,
Or nationally? Oh, okay.
nationally. He's from New Hampshire.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's keep it.
Chairman, just a one
Counsel
other
Hamlin.
question. Is he going to be, well, I don't know if you would know that, that's the sole thing he's going to be doing in the city of Everett is the power plant, correct?
At this moment in time, that's all we're asking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, thank you very much, Ms. Davis. What's the pleasure of the council?
Sends it out with favorable action on the order.
It's moved second to send this item out, favorable action at our next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Clerk will read the second item of business.
This is also an order offered by Council Frank Capone as president, that the city appropriate $850,000 to pay for additional costs to remodel the projects at the Powell School.
Good evening, gentlemen. We have representatives from the school department in
Can we
front of
make
us.
a
I
motion?
believe you have a PowerPoint presentation, if the council would indulge.
Make a motion to invite
Whoever from the,
whoever's
whoever
involved.
from the school department would like to come forward and shed information on it, we'd appreciate it. Okay. And if you could please just identify yourselves for the record?
Dear, 22 Meadowview Road, Everett, Superintendent of Schools. Is it not on? It's on, all right. Mr. Obremski is passing out to you information, and he will make a prepared statement when he's back here, and also do a PowerPoint presentation on why we're here and what we're looking for. Also, you can introduce
Yeah.
yourself and Jim.
Hello, James Russo, President of Russo Bar Associates. We're the designer of record for the project.
Charles Obremski, Assistant Superintendent of Schools. Good evening. And because of the severe overcrowding of the schools, the Powell Inn School in particular, the school department saw the need to renovate the boys and girls locker room and the bathrooms in to create more classroom space at the Powell Inn. Also, there was a need for an additional faculty and student bathrooms, along with the renovation of the library. And you don't have this in your packet, just for the record. I'll be brief and then go to the slideshow. As Mayor proceeded with his capital improvement project last winter for fiscal year 16, school department, based on preliminary estimate we received from Russo Bar Associates, who's the architect of record on the project, we asked for an appropriation in the capital improvement for $1.5 million. On March 30th, I came up in front of the board here, spoke in front that the $1.8 million should be enough to cover the cost. During the design effort, the scope of work increased, and during the construction phase, we had some unforeseen circumstances. The Powell Inn School being an old building, when you get into the walls, the ceilings, and in some cases the floors, we had some problems. And that resulted in an increase of about $850,000 in costs. As I go through the packet that you have, the additional amount, as like I just said, is $850,000. My presentation tonight will explain all the reasons for the increased costs. And as he already introduced himself, we have Jim Russo, President of Russo Bar Associates, who's basically a project manager and a school designer of school projects. We have Ryan O'Connor, a technician in the audience who works for Russo Bar, and Brendan Shea, who works for the on-site project manager, Vertex, to answer questions at the end of the slide presentation if you have any at that time. The first slide, please. The first slide basically is that the city awarded the school department $1.5 million in capital improvement money for the project at the Powell Inn School. And we have a final cost estimate of $2,350,000, which would mean we need an additional amount of $850,000 for the project. The renovations that took place at the school are as follows. The former girls' locker room was renovated to provide 2 new classrooms. These classrooms received new furniture, as well as mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and new fire protection. 3 new faculty bathrooms were constructed, and those 3 faculty bathrooms received new furniture, as well as mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and new fire protection. The former boys' shower area in the basement was renovated into a new art room. This art room received new furniture, as well as updated mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection. The existing large girls' restroom in the basement was renovated into a brand-new classroom, and the adjacent abandoned girls' shower room was converted into the girls' restroom. This area, again, received updated mechanical, electric, plumbing, and fire protection. Next slide. The 2 kindergarten bathrooms on the basement level were enlarged and renovated to provide more bathroom space for students and an additional faculty bathroom. This renovated space received updated mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection. The current art classroom was converted to a storage area with a new double door to allow easy access from the loading area, and that space received new updated mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection. The old vault in the basement was removed, and the space was renovated into a brand-new copy room for the teachers. That space received updated mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection. Finally, the library space was demolished to provide a new library with new ceilings, walls, lighting, flooring, updated mechanical, electric, plumbing, and fire protection, new furniture, and new enlarged windows. The next slide shows the increased cost summary. The award-winning bid went to Colangeli Construction and was awarded at a cost of $1,614,581.52. There are also other costs there for the designer, the project manager, furniture, and hazmat monitoring, bringing the total cost of the project at the beginning to $1,889,171.52. The next 4 slides basically show all the change orders that have been approved at this point by the architect, the on-site project manager, the school department, and the procurement office here at City Hall. And if you go to page 9, the total comes to $336,073.80. And I'll save questions on those to the end in case you have any on that part. Page 10 shows the pending change orders at this point in time on the project, which amount to a total of $38,900. Those haven't been approved yet, but are pending, and we're working with the contractor to see if they will be approved or we can get a lower price on some of them. The final cost projections is the original cost estimate of $1,889,171.52, plus the approved change orders of $336,073.80 for the total of $2,225,245.32, with pending change orders of $38,900 for a total cost of $2,264,145.32. The next page will explain why we're looking for a little additional money. We have a construction contingency on the next slide of $124,754 still left if you give us the $850, and pending change orders of $38,900, which would leave a remaining balance of $85,854. We still have a few items at the bottom of that slide that still need to be completed that haven't been. Windows in the art room, windows in classroom 1, and windows and a new hardwood floor in the library. The lead time on the windows took longer than expected. That's why they haven't been installed yet, but they will be shortly. And if we don't use the whole $85,000, obviously whatever money's left will be returned back to the city in the general fund. The next few slides will show before and after pictures, before demolition, and what was constructed in those spaces after the demolition and construction. The first slide is the former boys' shower area in the basement of the school, which was off the boys' locker room, if you're familiar with the area. It's converted into this next slide, this new beautiful art room. The next slide is the former girls' bathroom area in the basement floor before demolition or during demolition, was created into this classroom, which we call classroom number 1. As you can see on the right-hand side, the windows have not been installed yet, but they will be shortly. The next slide is the former girls' locker room before demolition, and this space was created into 2 classrooms. One we call classroom number 2, and one we call classroom number 3. The next area that was demoed was the former gym office for the gym teacher on the boys, inside the boys' locker room. We took the wall down into the hallway and created a faculty bathroom in the basement for the faculty members in the school. The next area was the former girls' shower area, where we created another faculty bathroom, as you can see from the next slide, which we call faculty bathroom number 2. And the next slide will be the girls' shower areas and storage before demolition, which was created into this beautiful new bathroom for all the female students in the school. The next slide is a picture of the former vault, or the old vault in the school. And then the vault area during demolition is the next slide. And finally, we have a new, brand new copy room that was created in that space where the former vault was. The next slide is demolition. We have a picture of one single kindergarten bathroom, which was expanded and converted to make 3 boys' stalls in the kindergarten bathroom area. Then we have the same thing in the girls' kindergarten, where we had 1 stall previously. We now expanded that into a bathroom that created 3 stalls for the kindergarten students. And we have a few pictures of the library during demolition. We have a picture where we took down the brick wall, if you're familiar with the library, in the back, the wall area, to open it up. So once we put the windows in, they'll all be all glass windows with a nice view. And we have new lighting on the next slide, new doors, new walls. And the next slide has a picture of an office area and a new copy room within the library area. You know, I thank you for your time this evening, and obviously we're here to answer any questions you might have about this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councilman Casey.
Mr. Obrinsky, understand it's an old building, and obviously there's going to be a lot of surprises when you take down the walls. You added how many new classrooms? Would you say 5, I think it was? 4?
4 classrooms.
I mean, what are you in need of there? I mean, you in need of more classrooms than that? Or are you still overcrowded there?
Well,
Yes, we are. We are overcrowded there, and that's why, of course, we're looking to build a new school, an additional school. And the state is very much in our corner, in the city's corner, for that project because of the growth of our population. But these 4 classrooms, I mean, it helps us.
Yep.
You know, we're taking dead space and turning it into space that our students can use.
I mean, is there any room in there to add 8 classrooms onto an addition on there? Is that a waste of money at this time?
Rather than an addition, the state wouldn't fund an addition, they're gonna fund a new school. Because they want facilities, they want a footprint where they'll have all the technology available to them, also have a schoolyard, et cetera, like that. So, they wouldn't support us with an addition.
I mean, like I said, I mean, it's beautiful looking, but sometimes you just wish too bad we couldn't put another 8
I
units
know.
on, even if we had to fund it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if you're in the progress of getting money from the state for a new school, as long as it can wait, it's not a problem, I believe. I mean, I don't have a problem, you know, allocating funds. I mean, everything you have there is beautiful. I can't remember what those places were. It's sad.
Yeah.
Those rooms. Looking at them, go, huh? I went to school there. You know, I think 4
Yeah.
years there for 2 years.
If you went there,
Yeah, I know.
which you did, not much has changed other than renovations we're doing. But with what we're talking about, the renovation to the Powlin, or addition to the Powlin, took place in 1928. That is the classrooms that are running down towards Dern Street.
Yep.
That was built in 1928, so they had the problems back then, too.
Well, thank you.
Council Sechetta.
And I know the question that Councilor Marchese asked was almost the same questions I was going to ask, but I would like to make a comment. Definitely, these are for additional people that are coming into the city, and that's why you needed the additional classrooms. I went to this school 70 years ago in the 9th grade, so I know how old this school is, and it was old when I went there. And I'm sure that if we had to build a school of that nature, the city would be in for a lot of money. So I would imagine this is well worth the money. Thank you.
Council Del Solo.
It's a great design. I liked how they took advantage of the space and expanded it. How's the heating system and the air conditioning system going down the road in the Powlin? How's it working? Is it old or was it updated lately?
What's happened is we put room air conditioning, individual air conditioners in each room, rather than try and put in a whole big mechanical project. So that is a fine. The cafeteria, when we renovate it next summer, will be different. That'll be an air conditioning system with all the mechanical operations and condensers on the roof and so forth like that. But all the classrooms and the existing rooms we have now have wall air conditioners.
No problems during
No
these hot
problem.
days we had?
No, handled it well.
How much of the school do you think has been renovated, that it's good now compared to what still needs to be done there?
What we've done over the last several years is a new roof, pointed up the building completely, put new windows. On the inside, we sheet-rocked all the walls, put in ceilings, put in new doors. And so we've done everything over physically. And now we're obviously going after the technology side of it and other additions to it.
Correct. The technology, we have it in the new rooms. The old rooms, we all want it. Going into the old rooms?
Yes, in fact, I mean, it's there, but we got to expand it. That's what it is.
I was up there a few months ago, into the gym area, and
Yeah.
have some memories up there, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah. I was in-
It's
yeah,
old.
You've been up to the gym, and that has
Yes,
not changed.
that has not
Since
changed.
1927. And,
Remember that, Sal?
A couple of things, a couple of years out in the capital improvement, we have replacement of the hardwood floors, that's already in the capital improvement plan, I'm not, remember the exact year, and new lockers for the students. They're in the capital improvement already. No, in the classroom area for the students to lock their bags and jackets during the day.
the other thing that we've had happen there is Joe O'Donnell, a former Everett guy, he's probably still want to say he's an Everett man, and he built the 2 science labs that are there in the school. So if you come to the school, you'll see them there. they're up to date, really nice.
It looks good.
He
Thank
did
you.
that in memory of his mother, or in his mother's name.
Yes. Thank you.
Counsel Hanlon.
Thank you very much, Mike. Could I take your attention to slide number 17?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of know where this is because this is where we used to wheel those voting machines back and forth in here.
Right.
And I'm looking at this area right here, and we're going to put in slide 18 and slide 19. I can't picture how they're going to go. I mean, I see a door at one end and maybe a closet, and then a door at the other end. Where are these doors going to go in and face out? Are they going to be?
What's happened is on, which you don't see, coming towards us, if we go back to slide 17, there's a door to your right-hand side that you can't see. What happened is we split this area in half.
Okay.
And so you have an entrance into this classroom, the first one, and then you go through another door to the second one. But they have their own entrance and exit on the other end. So both rooms have their own entrance and exit. And then there's a
And
door
yet they're
between
connected.
them to connect them.
Okay. I couldn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, because you don't see it.
Okay.
We
Thank you.
probably should have got that side in there, yeah.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I just heard you say that the cafeteria is gonna be the next thing you're gonna renovate in the summer.
Yes.
Is this $850,000 cover the cafeteria?
No, the cafeteria will pay for itself.
Okay, so it wasn't included in the
It's not
850?
part of this project.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Counsel Mangan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Forrester, you just mentioned about the gymnasium. Evidently it's old. Is that in the very near future in terms of updating that and making it state-of-the-art? Or
Yes, we've got plans for that, and it's just a question whether it can be done next summer. We'll talk to the mayor about a capital improvement there, because we won't have to take that floor out of there and redesign the whole area. Because of the way it is now, it really isn't functional. And, but that's our plan, to come back and do that also.
Now, do you see, I mean, along as it's done right, do you see the possibility, whether it's expansion, do you believe in that particular building, you can get it right the way you want it, with the right investment and so forth to make it?
We've been chipping away at this building every year for the last 10 years, so that we can give these youngsters what we're giving all the other youngsters. And, the parents there have been very understanding, that they see that every year we do a major project there, so that we can get that school to the level of the others. And we're gonna need 2 more years, and we should have it right where we want it.
All right, very good, thank you.
Counsel McKinnon.
Through you, Mr. President, to Superintendent Forrester. Superintendent, how many children right now will this accommodate by doing this?
Right now, we're 850 youngsters.
So 850, and would this accommodate any other additional children coming into the school, or would this just be
Or
at
this,
that
this
capacity?
helps us, and by opening up these classrooms there in the basement floor, we're able to thin out a couple of classrooms upstairs.
I'm not as dated as some of my colleagues, but I remember some of these places, and I was looking at them going, wow, they're chipping away some memories here, but, yeah, I know that we have overcrowding issues in all the schools, pretty much, and I think this is a good project. I think that this was needed, so.
Yeah,
I'll be voting for
it really is needed, and also we need to bring this school up to the level of all the other schools.
Just a question on, now the new school, when that comes in, will that alleviate any overcrowding issues throughout the city?
Yes, right now, the state is talking to us of building a school. Well, we asked for 850, they told us they didn't think it would be big enough with the projection of our enrollment. So you're looking at a school of at least 1,000 or so, and that will drain from the Powell Inn, from the Cavarian, from the Lafayette. Well, it'll take some pressure off all of those schools.
Well deserved and well needed, probably,
Yeah.
at that point.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Counsel Napolitano.
Thank you. Most of my questions that went down have already been checked off. I'm glad to hear we're still, that we're working on this building. It's nice to have a building with some character. Not,
It's an interesting word. It's an interesting word.
thank you. Thank you.
all
Thank you
young
very
people
much.
start to
Yes, I
respect
dated
themselves.
myself too, thank you. I just want curious, is there anything down the road that you see with the building? Of course, an older building's gonna always have problems. It sounds to me like, especially in the last 10 years, you stayed on top of
We've
these
stayed
things,
on
but
top of this.
Anything down the road that you're anticipating that's gonna be,
No, I mean, like I say, our next major project there is the cafeteria and the gymnasium. And then the building, then we'll look at like the stairs are starting to wear, you know, because they're slate. So we're gonna be looking at that. But our big thing right now is the cafeteria and the gym, and the building will be fine.
I'm all on board for it. And like Councilman Marchese, I also cannot remember what the old gym, the old locker room looked like. You know, I remember being there, I just
Yeah.
don't remember what it looked like, so, great. I'll be supporting this, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Council Hanlon.
I'm looking at the approved change orders and the pending change orders, and they all look pretty good. Some of them are very expensive, but they all look pretty good. But I have a question on one of them, on page 6. And I just don't understand why we're gonna do, I mean, I understand why, but $66,000 was not included in this budget, and it's a change order to get computers into there? Why wasn't this in the original?
It's
amount that
for
you
the
were-
wiring, it's not for the computers themselves. It's for the wiring, the paging system, the phone system, to update the wiring throughout the building. When we got into the ceilings, you know, we noticed a lot of the wiring was old and needed to be replaced. So it's not so much for the computers themselves, it's more for the wiring, to bring the lines to the places they need to be brought to.
I see the paging system also, that's gonna go throughout the whole school, a paging system?
Yes.
Yep, okay, so,
Paging system in the school is vital.
like when you say, will John Hanlon come to the office, that's what I remember from school. Yeah, so, okay,
John, they
Oh,
had
yeah,
cans
sure.
with a string then.
It was a Seacon.
thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Customary, thanks.
Thank you very much,
Favorable
gentlemen.
action on the order.
Second.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. From the chair,
Well,
I
refer it
just
out
want
favorably.
to, from the chair, I just want to recognize School Committee Chairman Frank Parker is here, as well as Principal Michael McLucas. So thank you, everyone, for being here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilors, what's the pleasure?
Send it out with favorable recommendation
Second.
to our next council
Moved
meeting.
and second to refer favorably to our next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You so moved.
Adjourn, Mr. President?
Second.
Moved and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You have adjourned.